We're on a walk and you just pointed out that Lynn and Ernie are up there. Hello! Did you find something else?
You got me looking into Spinoza now, you know that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Ah, had you read Spinoza previously?
No, not really.
Well, George Eliot translated him.
Does it belong flux?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Some of the ideas that they were saying, I thought, yeah, I agree with. Got to be the universe as
Nature,
opposed to,
yeah.
And sitting on the throne and dispensing favours.
It's almost like he diagnoses and then comes up with a prognosis for humans, given how easy it is to fall into thinking about God in that way.
Please save me, please allow me to do this.
I've got a nice seg into Spinoza week now.
What are you going to call it? Spinoza and
Something of that nature. As you can see, the area where the war table once was has been pretty radically transforming. But in the interests of continuing to grow with good orderly direction, I want to emphasize two things that remain constant. The sun continues to rise above a field beyond our ideas of good and bad, and into the field continues to focus on our ideas of good and bad, particularly Spinoza's. Something is truly good for Spinoza if it contributes to and facilitates a human being's holistic striving to maintain and increase its overall power. What do you think about that idea of good and bad? It's what we'll be focusing on as this week continues. Tomorrow, we'll bounce back to Big Ern, with whom, a few weeks ago, as shared yesterday, I began discussing Spinoza in the corner of the field.
So I sent it to her and what did she say? Oh wow, my friend the superstar.
Just saying about Yoshi saying I never thought I'd see my grandmother on YouTube.
Granita granola.
Oh, that's very nice.
I know, I don't know where he gets it from and he calls it any big bird. What did he say to you?
Big my friend, you are wise.
How are you doing, Simon? You alright?
I'm doing okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm working towards writing my first book, which is about a
You want to know
TV
the
show.
title? It's called Spinoza and Ern.
I think that the title of this week is maybe The Wisdom of Big Ern.
So what's your book going to be about?
The first one is about a TV show that I had in Minneapolis. So I did hundreds of long-form interviews with local musicians.
Yeah.
Some of my favourite ones went into the intersection between music and wellness.
Oh, how interesting, because there is such a connection there, isn't there?
Good morning. Today and for the next 3 days, we're focusing on joy, sorrow, and the feeling brain. Antonio Damasio first introduced us to Spinoza. Today we're turning to Spinoza Beyond Philosophy, where a passage from Spinoza scholar Susan James is quoted, related to these three principal passions: elation, joy, dejection, sorrow, and desire. Now, these passions are our experience of our disposition to try to persevere in our being, and of our victories, the joy, and defeats, the sorrow in this process. I've got a quotation from Antonio Damasio here underneath desire. We desire essentially to survive and to maximize the pleasurable rather than the painful survival. This is all we need to grasp for today. Today we journey deeper into joy via first understanding that for Spinoza in the Ethics, desire is man's very essence. He elaborates down here. By the word desire, I understand any of a man's strivings, impulses, appetites, and volitions. And this is what's important for Antonio Damasio. Spinoza understands organisms naturally endeavour of necessity to persevere in their own being. That's what desire is. Just as naturally, organisms strive to achieve a greater perfection of function, which Spinoza equates with joy, our sense of the victories as we try to persevere in our being. That's what elation is. And now all of these emotions, love, hope, confidence, gladness, and many more, are a combination of joy plus certain ideas. This is all we need to understand for today. Today is all about dejection's children, hate, fear, despair, remorse, and so on, as opposed to the spawn of elation, love, hope, confidence, and gladness. But as we can see in the ethics just here, these effectively come in pairs. Love and hate, for example. Love is a joy accompanied by the idea of an external cause, and for Spinoza, hate is a sadness, a sorrow, a dejection, accompanied by the idea of an external cause. The same pattern continues. We've got the same basic ingredient, an idea related to either joy or sorrow. Basically, for as long as we experience hope, because of inconstant joy, born of the idea of a future or passing whose outcome we to some extent doubt, we'll also experience fear, which is the same idea combined with sorrow. We're just recognizing this pattern for today, letting it sink in. This week we've considered the possibility that all emotions are the children of joy or sorrow. Two related ideas today. First, a musical metaphor from Antonio Damasio. Neural maps of a certain configuration are the basis for the mental state we call joy and its variants. So something like a score composed in the key of pleasure, interesting metaphor for these ones then. Other maps are the basis for the mental state we call sorrow. These are scores composed in the key of pain. It makes sense to think about neural maps because look, every emotion is a combination of joy or sorrow plus an idea. So my love for gambling, for example, could be my experience of elation plus the idea of the money I could win as the external cause of that elation. Second idea for today is that there are subspecies of joy and sorrow, and that it would be fruitful to separate these. What do you think?